Aspiring guitarist. So, how do I keep up with my guitar collection digitally, on paper, and why do I want to in the first place? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So, here's an Excel spreadsheet. That's well, actually, this is a Mac Pages spreadsheet. Sorry, too many years of teaching Windows classes. And I started out, and I brought up this one, but I had one that just went on and on and on with columns. Everything from top wood, side wood, nut width, fingerboard, this, that, and other. And I finally decided that was getting too. It the spreadsheet reminded me of a bull in a china shop. So I'm going to show you the other things that I did. Number one is I now I have multiple spreadsheets. This guitar, the very first one that I labeled guitars, then I have another one, guitars nut width, guitars tone woods, things like that. But this one simply, I started building, I just copied, and it's going to have the brand, the model, when I got it, the serial number, how much I paid, and what was the retail when I paid it. So that's it. So let's move this out of the way. Let me show you another way that I keep up with things. Let's move that out of the way. So here we are at Sweetwater. Well, Sweetwater, one of the reasons I encourage people to make an account at Sweetwater, which is free to do so, is they have lists. They have a wish list, and then you can create new lists. And you can see I have one called Owned Guitars. Okay? And so these are the guitars that I owned. And how do I get them into this wish list? All right, well, let's click on this Yamaha that I own. Well, right here, even though this one is back ordered, you can click add to wish list. And then these are the lists that I've created. And you can see right here, create a new list. So once I buy a guitar, and I can always go to the order page if I forget, down here, your order history, if I bought it from Sweetwater. But I'm not limited to that. I have guitars on this owned list that I did not buy from Sweetwater, but yet I used the Sweetwater listing to get them into this owned guitar list. Now you can see I also have an owned accessory, owned mic, used to own guitars. Those are guitars that I've given away to people. And actually, it is given away. It's not one guitar I've sold to anybody. But anyway, then you can also add a note. And part of what I'm going to do on this note, I started to add serial numbers, but I don't because I do that somewhere else. But this is a great way to list everything. And then I don't even have everything. Like, look, right here, I've got spruce, basswood, added chrome locking tuners. I don't even have everything I own here yet. This is a vintage sunburst, but I put spruce and maple. I'm just making notes of things, and you can make, it gives you ample room to make notes. At the end of your list, it's going to total up what you got. And I'm not going to let you see my total just because I'm not going to do it. But anyway, that will help you. But so what else do I do? Well, I take this list and then I can print it out. And it prints quite well. And of course, my printer will do double-sided printing. So, I can print this off and wind up with 12 pages. I'm going to cancel. But here's the other thing I do. Now, Windows has Notepad. They have several other texts. You have Word. You have many things. But one of the things that I like using a Mac environment. Remember, I was on a Windows version 1. I had Windows version 1. Yes, I'm that old. But at any rate, and Microsoft DOS before that, going back to, oh God, I think it was, I remember vividly teaching version 3, but it went further than that. But anyhow, okay, I use notes. And the reason I like notes is because I can get it on my iPad, my phone, my tablet, and my desktop. So, I'm not, this is not a notes lesson, but I showed you. I created a folder. You know, this is something I started out, I used to have all the guitars here, and then I decided to create folders, and things of that. So, I've got the Martin's on, I've got in one place. Well, this is nothing but Sweetwater, information, which allows me to quickly get to it. There's how much I paid for that. I put information, but I always get the tech specs from Sweetwater because that's going to give me, and Sweetwater does a great job with this. It gives me the radius, the nut width, the scale length. It gives me all of that. And that way, then I turn around and something else I started doing, which you're probably going, what is all this 249R16 NW-1.75? Well, I like to quickly see what the scale of my guitars are, the radius of the fingerboard, and the nut width. So I start off with the scale. This one's 24.9. That one's, if I have an X, it's 23 point something. So this is 24.9X. It had another number. Let me show you. And I do this just to try to, I'm a nerd like this, but it helps me to buy guitars. I know there are certain times I want a wider nut width, like if I'm buying a classical guitar. But then if I'm buying a noodling guitar, I don't want a wide nut width. It's something I don't want. So so that's the reason I put the scale first. Then I do the radius of the fingerboard. That means a lot to me. I kind of lean as a catch-all to a 12-inch radius, but I like a 16 when I'm moving toward a classical. I like a 7.5 and a 9 if I'm on an electric guitar. But these are things that, from having different guitars, help me to know how I'm going to feel about a guitar before I buy it or before I go and try it out. So, that's something you can do. But, this is a valuable part of Sweetwater that can help you keep up with things. Not to mention the wish list itself. Y'all know me. I'm a guitar nerd. My family plays ukuleles. I have two Martin ukuleles. I kind of like this Life is Good ukulele. I like the Life is Good brand, Sweetwater just does a really excellent job at listing things. I write reviews on things I bought to help others. When I first tried to get back into playing after my hand got screwed up with a Duptrin contracture, I tried a steel guitar, a pedal steel that actually had the poles that you put down and you sit down in a chair. And I, even with using a slide, my hand was just too deformed, my fretting hand that would have taken the slide to be able to play. But I knew I could finger pick. My right hand doing that for a pedal steel, I could fly with. So I may want to get a lap steel. This is, I just put things in here. I happen to have played this 1942 Banner J45, and I may want to get it. This is a little noodling guitar. This is a Taylor I like. I have the Fender Acoustasonic Jazzmaster, so that's kind of keeping me from wanting this down the line. But I'm just showing you things you can do, with Sweetwater that goes, you can add your own collection. I don't have all the amps and mics I own, but I have some positive grids in here and, things like that. So this is just another way you can keep up with a guitar collection. But it can also be just as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. It all depends on what you want. So why do I want to keep up with that? Well, number one, for insurance purposes. I add the serial numbers in notes, and I try to put some of my. You saw the one I scrolled through. I actually took a photo of the purchase receipt. So, I do that for insurance purposes. I also do that to know what I paid for it. If I am going to try to sell it, I want to portray an accurate listing. If I bought the guitar, demos don't bother me. Little tiny blemishes that I save a lot of money buying demo guitars that you would have to be inspecting the guitar to see if I was playing it. And if you're trying to inspect my guitar while I'm playing it, well, you're just too darn close to me. I'm going to ask you to move. Now, so why do I keep up with that in my notes? Because I want to be fair if I sell this to somebody and highlight, look, this had this blemish when I bought it. You need to be aware of that. So you can put all kind of information in notes, but you can also do it in the Sweetwater list, which you pull up from the account section. There's your wish. These are the ones I created. And there's create a new list, just like I can create a new list, from right here. If I click down here, there's the little plus symbol is how you would create a new list. So just another way to keep up with something. I'm kind of nerdy like that. I guess that goes back to my old days in computer teaching and teaching people to use Excel and things like that to keep up with stuff where you can measure it. And of course, the benefits of putting something in Excel. You can group it and all that. That's not what this was about. This was just showing you ways I keep up with things, and it benefits me greatly in many, many ways. So, if whether you have a guitar collection or not, you can benefit from the wish list. I hope. I hope it doesn't contribute to guitar addiction syndrome. I told you I don't feel like I have guitar addiction syndrome. I don't buy a guitar if it takes away from my family. I don't buy a guitar unless I have a purpose. But what you do with your money and your things is your business. I hope this shows you a way to keep up with your guitar collection if you have one, or your wish list, or any number of things. I hope your guitar journey is blessed. And most of all, like I always say, and I mean it, happy picking. Thanks for watching.